day, viewers. This is TechMag TV News. My name is Stephanie Truter, and these are the headlines. Mwonzora concedes defeat and says it is time for introspect. SA President faces a vote of no confidence. Biti assault case ruling tomorrow. Zimbabwe to hand over water systems to Rwanda. And now in our top story, MDCT leader Douglas Mwonzora has conceded defeat and says it's now time for introspection. In a statement published Wednesday on the Emergency National Standing Committee by his party Secretary for Information and Publicity Witness Dube, said the committee took note of the disappointing outcome for the party in the just ended March 26 by-elections. Dube added that it is further affirmed the explanation by the party president Mwonzora during the press conference on Monday. As part of self-introspection, the committee came up with a number of recommendations which will be deliberated on and explored further during the National Council meeting scheduled for Friday the 1st of April at Mwonzora House in Harare. The party also took note of the increase in the number of COVID cases in the country. It further expressed deep concern over the reported outbreaks in the schools across the country and have urged the government to step up efforts to curb the spread of deadly disease. In our regional news, motions of no confidence against Ramaphosa is to be heard this afternoon. After all the political mechanisms of the previous day, the motion of no confidence in Cyril Ramaphosa and the motion of no confidence in his cabinet are to go ahead today. It will be the first motion of no confidence that Ramaphosa faces, and it has been a long time coming. The ATM first lodged the motion with the office of the Speaker in early 2020. A pandemic and protracted court battle over whether it should be voted on by secret ballot have had the court case been delayed, and now the ATM won't participate in its own motion. National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa last week shot down the DA's request to have the motion of no confidence in cabinet voted on by secret ballot. On Saturday, DA leader John Steenhuisen wrote to Nosiviwe to ask that the ministers who are MPs are not allowed to vote in the motion. Mapisa on Monday said no to the first request, as ministers who are MPs are required to account, participate and vote in matters of the National Assembly that might impact their political officers directly. There is no provision in the Constitution excluding members of Cabinet from voting in the section motion 102. However, on Tuesday, she agreed to the roll call voting procedure. After the urgent application to review Mapisa's decision, the voting that would be open on the motion of no confidence in Ramaphosa, the ATM asked Mapisa to postpone this motion. She refused earlier this Tuesday, saying she did not have the power to postpone motions as it resided with the National Assembly Programming Committee. She said Rule 128 allows the withdrawal and resubmission of a motion, ensuring that no other party or member will be prejudiced by a motion remaining in an order paper for an undetermined period. She gave the ATM until 3 o'clock this Tuesday to indicate its decision on whether to withdraw the motion. ATM leader Violetti Zungula tweeted his response to Mapisa, in which he stood by his previous continuation that the matter was sub judice. He rejected the suggestion to withdraw the motion but said the ATM would not participate in this unlawful conduct. The hybrid sitting is scheduled to start at 2 o'clock today. The DA indicated it will picket outside the parliament this morning. In our other local stories, opposition politician Tendai Biti will know his fate this Thursday in a case where the Harare lawyer is accused of assaulting a Russian national. Harare Magistrate Fungai Guriro Muchuchuti confirmed the development. The Citizens Coalition for Change Vice President has been on trial over the matter since 2020. He denies assaulting the Russian national Tatiana Alishina. Magistrate Muchuchuti has been accused of the bias by Biti, who even approached the High Court seeking to have her and prosecutor Michael Reza removed from the case. The Zimbabwe National Water Authority has said it will comply with the government directive to hand over water systems to Rwanda and bike-breed municipalities by April the 18th. Zeno was directed to hand over water treatment plants to the two councils, but it was reportedly still holding on to the plants due to unpaid bills. Rwanda municipality owes Zeno more than $270 million and will be required to pay $18 million per month to clear the debt. Cabinet has resolved that returning residents and visitors are no longer required to present a negative PCR certificate at arrival on ports of entry. Speaking during post-cabinet briefing, Minister of Information, Publicity and Broadcasting Services, Monica Mchanga, said only a valid vaccination certificate showing that they are fully vaccinated against COVID-19 will suffice. She further reiterated that it was a result of the decline in COVID-19 cases. Acting Mayor Councillor Mwonzora Concedes has invited the private sector to work hand in glove with other development partners in helping revive the ailing capital. Mwonzora said Harare needs to build resilience to guard against shocks brought by unforeseen circumstances such as the COVID-19 pandemic. Speaking at a meeting with visiting United Nations Economic Commission for Africa team in the city, Mwonzora said Council appreciated the efforts made by the organizations in helping Council revive the economy after COVID-19, which worsened the situation. He went on to state, as a build-up to the resilience and development trajectory of the city, he is looking for further partnership that will help stabilize the city, which is dealing with unstable finances at the moment. A cocktail of issues affecting the city, which has left most of the economy traumatized. He stresses the need to formalize the informal sector so we can capture the much-needed resources from it. Impala's Platinum Zimbabwe units and plants is going to plow more than 80 million into Biti mine just after completing a nearly $100 million construction project there following a major collapse 8 years ago. The Biti mine, which accounted for about half of Zimplant's production, collapsed in July 2014, forcing the company to close and reconstruct it. The mine is one of the largest in the country. It had to additionally invest in replacement production projects. The reconstruction program for the mine has now been completed, and Zimplants has embarked on a project to upgrade the Biti mine at an additional cost of $81.7 million. Chief Executive Officer Alex Membere said this week. Zimplants has invested as much as $166.9 million on this project as at the end of December from an approved project budget of $388 million. And now in our international news, US President Joe Biden signs a historical anti-lynching legislation. President Joe Biden has made lynching in the United States a federal hate crime after more than 100 years of delays. US President Joe Biden has signed into law the first federal legislation that makes racist lynching a hate crime, putting an end to over a century of delays in outlawing what he called pure terror. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act is named after a 14-year-old black boy whose brutal murder in the southern state of Mississippi galvanized the US civil rights movement in the 1950s. Peace talks produced the first signs of progress for Ukraine. Moscow said it would drastically reduce its military operations in two key areas of Ukraine to boost mutual trust in the talks which are being held in Istanbul. But while the decision to scale back operations around the capital Kyiv and the northern city of Chernihiv were the first sign of tangible progress, many questions remain unanswered. It is unclear how extensive any reduction in military activity might be. The US has expressed skepticism too, noting how Russia has already refocused its military campaign on Ukraine's east. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky was more forthright, saying positive signals from the talks did not drown out the explosions or Russian shells. The talks also featured an appearance from Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich hours after reporters emerged suggesting he had suffered suspected poisoning symptoms at peace talks earlier this month. Away from the talks, Ukraine says full-scale Russian attacks have continued. And now in our tech news, wind and solar generated 10% of global electricity for the first time in 2021, a new analyst shows. 50 countries get more than a tenth of their power from wind and solar sources, according to a researcher from Ember, a climate and energy think tank. As the world's economies rebounded for the COVID-19 pandemic in 2021, demand for energy soared. Demand for electricity grew at a record pace. This saw a surge in coal power rising at the fastest rate since 1985. The research shows the growth in the need for electricity last year was the equivalent of adding a new India to the world's grid. Wind turbines being made ready for export from China. Solar, wind, and other clean sources generated 38% of the world's electricity in 2021. For the first time, wind turbines and solar panels generated 10% of the total. The researchers say that despite the coal resurgence in 2021, major economies including US, UK, Germany, and Canada are aiming to shift their grids to 100% electric within the next 15 years. This has been TechMac TV News. Please share, like, and subscribe as we keep bringing you more top stories. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.